Wake up. Wake up. Larry and Damon back with you on a Friday. We're talking Niners. The Niners were on the field. Did McCaffrey look fast? Did McCaffrey look slow? Oh, here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We got a lot to get to. Pig in a pickle, Ike's. Let's just go.
I mean, I heard he looked fast, but did he feel fast? Oh, my goodness. Here indeed we go. It is good to be back after peeling away for a little Memorial Day last weekend. Larry, it is great to see you again. I know that you've been down at training camp and obviously, OTAs, and we got quite a bit to talk about. But welcome back, everybody. It's wonderful to have you here. Hit like and subscribe across both channels. And indeed, thanks to Pig in a Pickle. Thanks to Claw Daddy Arcades. I think I can pretty much do your promotions for you at this point, Larry. Thank you to Ike's. Thank you to the Dubliner and West Portal. And thanks to all of you for being back here. It's really great to have you. And I can tell you this, Larry, no matter what seems really good or really bad, or who is here or who isn't here, at OTAs this week, here's something reassuring for everyone. It's the only statistic that matters coming out of OTAs this week. We are 100 days from our first NFL Sunday. Today, 100 days until a 1:05 kickoff, September 7th in Seattle. So whatever's going right, things can go wrong. Whatever's gone wrong, things can get right. Who's ever hamstrings pulled, it might not be pulled 100 days from now. Who's ever ankles wonky, hopefully it won't be wonky 100 days from now. We still got a long time to go. But like you said, the team's back on the field. You are my favorite eyewitness down in Santa Clara. So let's just hop in, Kruger. What'd you see? What'd you like? Let's start with Christian McCaffrey, of course, because, look, there's nobody who quite stirs the offensive drink like this guy. And if you're telling me he looks an awful lot like the Christian McCaffrey I remember, that's good news.
I thought he did. I thought he was bouncy. I was like, wow, look at him. He looked faster than at any point last year. I thought he looked really good. To me, he looked healthy. He was letting it rip. I don't know that he was getting to full speed. It's May.
Was he still finishing plays 60 yards downfield because he won't stop running?
Yeah, he was. He was. And he just looked very much like the player that we remember from a couple years ago. I mean, I don't know if anybody had as big a backslide last year as Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey he had 1,600 plus yards fewer last year than he had the year prior. So they need to get him right. I thought he looked great.
He scored touchdowns in a way that only Jerry Rice has ever scored touchdowns for this franchise. You subtract that from the room, it's a major subtraction. I really think that there are two things that are going to be, 3-win improvement on that alone happening right in front of our eyes. I was talking to John Chapman of 49ers Rush on my channel this week. And, I think that Christian McCaffrey is so important to what the 49ers do, what they want to do, especially with doubts among this wide receiver group as they stand right now. With, who's going to pick up the slack of Debo's gone and Ayuk isn't returned yet. And I think Christian McCaffrey is the guy to do it. He is, and this is not hyperbole, I think he's one of the single greatest San Francisco 49ers of all time. I mean, that's the impact that he's had since joining this franchise. He has changed the arc of the franchise and what Shanahan wants to do. Shanahan's maybe single biggest mistake as a head coach is another reason why I like going into this year even more. John Chapman said it, and I agree with him. Nick Sorensen was probably one of the worst coaching hires in 49ers history. He wasn't head coach, but his defensive unit gave up more yards, more touchdowns, and had, a constant state of back-end communication issues, and it was a disaster. Like, when we really go through some of the biggest mistakes of the Kyle Shanahan era, nothing will ever top Trey Lance. Nick Sorensen could come in at number 2 because he threw away.
I know the results were bad, Damon, but look at when the situation came down. They had been in the Super Bowl. They said goodbye to their defensive coordinator. All the coaching circle stuff was done by then. So they didn't have anybody to really choose from. All they knew was
Right.
they didn't want to bring Wilkes back. And so they were late in the cycle. And I think they kind of got forced to go with a guy in-house because they were late in the cycle and it burned them.
I think
But I also don't think it was coordinator related. I think it was more talent related.
Look, it all fits together, right? I think it all has to do with it, and just Robert Saleh being back in the room. And obviously you can see that with Boyer now the special teams coach, we got Jets landing at SFO. And we'll talk about how the New York Jets and the 49ers have a little similar arc to them, thanks to now Robert Saleh and Boyer and his entire special teams unit basically coming on over. And that should
Chaz Surratt, yeah, you name
it.
it.
Yeah. But again,
the punter, Morstead.
Like I said, you're my favorite practice eyewitness. I trust your eye more than I trust others. I couldn't make it down there this week. I'm going to get down there hopefully next week when they open practice to media, one of the days. Tell me what you saw. Tell me the vibe, because this year vibes were off. This time last year, it was kind of a mess. A little disappointing to hear that Trent Williams wasn't there. Don't know why. Hopefully everything's okay. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I don't think anyone really should. Disappointed to hear that Ricky Pearsall can't go, because that's a guy who I think really needs these reps. But again, John Lynch, I believe on KNBR, said this morning, look, if we were playing this week, he'd probably play. So it's not that big of a deal. Jair Brown, too bad that he can't go. But let me stop worrying about what didn't happen. Larry, tell me what did happen.
Well, I thought what happened was Jordan Watkins and Jacob Cowing announced their arrival. Those guys look great, and they looked like they could play right now. And they're, dynamic players with 4.3 speed. I thought Cowing was worlds better than what he was last year. A little quicker, a little faster, a little bit stronger, a little bit more sudden, a little bit more explosive. Let's just say I saw the back of his jersey at least 3 or 4 times. I mean, he made some plays and got upfield, and it's like, man, look at that guy run. He is absolutely quick. And then, Jordan Watkins, the rookie from Ole Miss, is a very polished rookie, very crisp in his routes. Another guy with 4.3 speed. Purdy found him a few times. I mean, this guy's going to get open. There's 3 guys that I think made you go, man, this is going to be an amazing year. And for me, it wasn't CMC or Purdy. And Purdy looked great, and I thought CMC looked great. It was Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowing, and Isaac Guerendo.
Made your list. I'm happy to hear that.
Guerendo looked awesome, man. First of all, Guerendo is just so big, so fast, so strong. Damon, I think the combination of Guerendo, who caught 15 of 16 passes they threw him last year. He's got great hands, great catch radius, great hands, great feel for the receiving game. And then you've got Brock Purdy, who's really accurate underneath. Oh my God! If they don't throw Isaac Guerendo 25 passes, under little stop routes, little rub routes, little everything within the 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. If they don't throw him, short passes, a lot of them, they're doing themselves a huge disservice, because this guy has got home run ability. Man, he looks amazing out there. He's such a great athlete. He's so big, so fast. Now he knows the offense. He knows a little bit more about what they were asking him to do. I think Guerendo, Cowing,
you think he's graduated from fullback replacement to actual playmaker?
Well, no, I think he is a fullback. I mean, I really do. But I think he could be used as a fullback. Throw him the ball. Throw him the ball underneath. And I just think those 3 guys look so explosive that they're not going to miss Ayuk and Debo as much as I think people think. I was expecting, with no Debo and no Ayuk, to have kind of a muted practice where it looked like the Niners were just a little like they didn't have enough juice from their skill position guys. And then Cowing and Guerendo and Watkins showed that speed. All 3 of those guys have 4.3 speed. And I think all 3 of them are going to be major, major players in the offense. And I thought all 3 of them looked amazing.
It's really hard to, garner what you're seeing along the line of scrimmage when no one has any pads on and guys aren't hitting at all. But I got to ask, what did you see defensively? What did you see out of Mikael Williams. I know that Alfred Collins was working on a side field. He's dealing with a little bit of a hamstring tweak or something right now. That's again, we're 100 days away from football. But tell me about Williams.
I mean, he looks the part. I mean, he's big and strong. I mean, he was hovering next to Chris. Chris was giving him lots of instruction. They're not going live. It's hard to really tell, but he's big and strong and fast. He looks good in some of the drills. I thought, to me, on the defensive side, the guys that really shined, Nick Martin. I mean, Nick Martin, the people that are saying that Nick Martin isn't going to be good are going to be eating their hat. I mean, they're going to be eating their words because, I mean, this guy, he made a play in the flat where he just squeezed it and ran over there, and the defenders were like, woofing because he would have blown up this running back in the worst way. Instead, there's no hitting, so he just tapped off on him, and everybody did all the woofing. But Nick Martin flies, absolutely flies. And yeah, he's 220 pounds. Don't let anybody convince you that he's small. And this guy's jacked, super dominant physically, fast, strong, instinctive. He's going to be a beast. He closes space because he knows what he's doing, and he's got great speed. And when you know where you're going, you've got great speed, you can get there fast. I mean, that's really, really good. So he looks great. I thought your guy, CJ West, looked really, really good. Upton Stout is small. I'll give you that. I mean, he is really small. He's 5'8". He looks 5'8". He might even be under 5'8". He might be 5'7". So he's a really, really small player, but he's super athletic. But yeah, to me, CJ West and Nick Martin were the guys that really shined yesterday on the defensive side of the ball. They really, really look good. I mean, also, I thought Richie Grant looked pretty good. And the Niners, there's always going to be a few guys that look really good that you just weren't expecting. And the guy for me was Trey Avery. So the Niners have a corner on their roster. They signed this offseason. He played at Rutgers. His name's Trey Avery, and I really don't know anything about him other than what I just told you. And he looked great. There was a couple passes that he had PBUs. He's playing man coverage down the field. He's stride for stride with the receiver. He knocked down a couple passes. He just looked like an NFL corner, and I never even heard of him. So Trey Avery, remember that name this summer. He's probably real and in the mix at corner.
Bosa back with 0.5% of body fat.
Bosa was back. He looked amazing, and he was chopping it up a little bit with Mikkel. They were talking. And, that's the one thing Mikkel understands. Hover by Bosa. Listen to Bosa. Ask Bosa lots of questions.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. And just in terms of sideline chatter, that's the thing I think you pick up on maybe more going to these OTAs and being able to observe. You don't really get to watch, certainly can't film any of the practice. I saw you have a couple. It was Kevin posted it. Kevin Kruger, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Just some get off drills, and it's good to see football again. It's always good to see football, and I'm glad that it's out there. And like we were saying, Jets are landing at SFO. The 49ers made, a few moves this week that I guess we got to talk about. There's a new punter in town. He is far away from being a new punter in this league. Thomas Morstead, what is he, 17, 18 years in this league? He is one of the longest tenured players in the NFL. And he has replaced Mitch Wisnowski, who's officially been released. And, we're not going to sit here and wax poetic, get too romantic about punters. But I'll say, look, Mitch Wisnowski was this team's punter for 6 years. And he spent most of those 6 years doing a really damn good job at the job. He really did. And his back is failing him a little bit. And I think that's, a big reason why they've moved on.
Well, I think it's, it's like, hey, look, if you're going to hold Brant Boyer's feet to the fire and say, hey, we expect you to get this done and that done. We expect our special teams to be this and that. You got to let him pick his guys. You got to let him pick his guys. So I think it's really more about that. I mean, I know Wisnowski had kind of a disappointing year, but he is a 4th round pick and he is a younger guy. I thought it was maybe back or knee related because he had those injuries last year. Shanahan said no. He's 100% healthy and ready to go. So they obviously chose. I mean, this is a Brant Boyer call.
Okay.
Brant Boyer would rather have Thomas Morstead, the punter he knows, over the punter that he's inheriting. Simple as that. And it'll be interesting to see on the Jake Moody front. I mean, Boyer's really positive about Jake Moody, but they also have Greg Joseph they could go to, and they may. So
Chaz Surratt. Now, is this guy playing linebacker at any point this year for the 49ers, or is he just Johnny special teams?
Well, he's an incredible story. I mean, he was a parade All-American quarterback. He got hurt, went to North Carolina, still as a quarterback. And then Sam Howell showed up, and he was like, okay, let's switch to defense. And then he switched to defense, and, I mean, you never see this. This guy went from he was playing quarterback to switch to linebacker to runner-up for ACC Defensive Player of the Year award in 1 year. So that's how good he was. He stepped in at linebacker his first season. He made 116 tackles, like 40 for loss, had interceptions, had 6.5 sacks. So he's a great athlete. He's 6'3", 230, and he runs in the 4.5s, like 4.59. Saleh loves him from the Jets. He got caught up in a numbers game with the Jets. A lot of people feel like this guy's going to give Jalen Graham and their backup linebackers a real run. If nothing else, he gives them a really talented young linebacker who's pretty cheap that knows Saleh's system that Saleh likes.
And he plays special teams. Again, this feels like Brent Boyer's got his fingerprints all over this too. And
yeah,
I mean, given last year's special teams performance, I don't think you can question anything that's going on his side of the ball. Like that's what he was brought in to do, fix a major problem. So whatever he thinks is the right thing to do, I'll just say that in all of the problems that special teams has had, I never thought Mitch Wisnowski himself was a big part of it. Right. I mean, I thought that the problems on special teams had to do with tackling, not the actual execution of the punt.
Yeah, but I mean, he had his lowest average of his career last year. So it's not like Mitch Wisnowski's coming off a good year. He's not. Once again, I mean, my message would be like, stop investing draft choices in kickers and punters. Stop. You're either smarter than everybody else or dumber than everybody else, and I think we know the answer.
I mean, yeah, it feels like there are very special, unique items that you got to go to, a specialty boutique store to find, and there are other guys you can just find at Walmart, and that's how I've always felt about punters and kickers. You can pick one up on your way out of the grocery store. You don't need to really spend a lot of time looking for one.
There are places to go. There's times to go cheap, and there's times to go 5-star, right? You go on a beautiful vacation with your family, and you're going to go out to dinner. Go 5-star. Go 5-star. You're on vacation. But if you're just, it's just you and your, one of your sons on a rainy night in October and the wife's out with the other kid, it's okay to boil some hot dogs. It's okay to have a kind of a muted celebration or whatever. There's a time to go for it. There's a time not to. Stop acting like you're smarter than everybody with your 3rd-round kicker and your 4th-round punter. You just cut your 4th-round punter. You're probably 6 weeks away from cutting your 3rd-round kicker. Stop doing it. You're not smarter than everybody else. Stop pretending. Dallas just found a kicker that's 10 times better than any kicker you've had in recent memory, and they got him out of a tryout camp. So how about do that? Go hold a tryout camp.
Do you think Moody's going to be the kicker?
Kickers.
I think Moody's going to be the kicker, though, this year. I do.
Well, I think he's got the lead. There's no question. He switched from 3 steps to 2 steps to try to look for more accuracy. Bottom line is, he's never had a really good run. I mean, what what's he? I mean, he's made a couple kicks in the postseason. He's had a decent little start to the year last year, but I mean, I got to see
Well, here's the
him
thing,
with
you
a
know,
little consistency before I give him anything. To me, if Greg Joseph and Jake Moody kick to a stalemate, I'm giving the job to Joseph.
wow.
That's how I feel about it. He's done it. He's a veteran. I'm going with the veteran. I'm going with a guy who's done it. I'm not taking any more chances. How many more times how many seasons do you want to blow? How many games do you need to blow before you just go, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have taken Jake Moody in the third round.
I mean, here's the thing. You can't talk about the great Super Bowl that he had when he missed a point after touchdown that sent you to freaking overtime when it was all said and done. But he does have the longest field goal in 49ers Super Bowl history. There is talent there. And I thought he was having a good year before he, wrapped his ankle up underneath him because he had to make a tackle on special teams. He was having a good year up until then. And I just think that, Larry, with the fact that they did draft him, there is going to be a little hubris and think that, the tie is going to go to the runner that you drafted, not to the one that you picked up.
They're not giving up. I mean, Damon, they're not giving up. I mean, John Lynch is like, you can tell he wants Jake to be the guy. He's invested in this pick. He doesn't want to take the L on it. So they've obviously brought in Boyer. Boyer's like, yeah, we love Jake. You love Jake until he misses 3 kicks, and then he's going to be out of there. So it's like this, a lot of it's just talk. Talk's cheap, and a lot of it's just talk at this point. When they start kicking for real, we're going to find out. But no more scholarship. No more scholarship. They changed out their long snapper. They changed out their punter. Why not make it a clean sweep? I don't need Greg Joseph. I'm not related to Greg Joseph. He's not my great uncle or anything. So I really don't care. I just don't want to see them go with Moody if Joseph outkicks him.
Like and subscribe, good friends. Thumbs up. Do it on both channels if you would, please. Thank you so much for watching. We are back on our wake-up schedule for the foreseeable future. And, Larry, I am 29 minutes away from doing maybe one of the most San Francisco-y things ever done on this show. If we're going to go an hour, I know people are like, what's wrong with Larry? Are you okay? Larry, you got a little eye thing again today.
Oh, yeah. I woke up with an eye deal that I got to go see the eye doctor. My left eye is tearing up and it's kind of agitated. I wear contacts, so I don't have my contact lens in my left eye because it's
Do you
so
have
agitated.
glasses? I don't ever think I've seen you wear glasses. Ever.
I don't own. I mean, I do own a pair of glasses, but I probably we'll have to bust them out at some point. But no, it's my left eye is just a little tweaked this morning, and I don't know if it was from camp yesterday or whatever. I wore contacts. I was up late watching some TV. I took out my contact. I felt fine, but I woke up and it's kind of red and inflamed. So I got to go.
And you wake up with pudding eye, which is always an awful lot of fun to do. Let me tell you, I can see Larry Krueger in glasses could bring your NFL coverage to a place it's never been before, Larry. I'm thinking.
Oh, dude, when I do bust out the glasses, like the family laughs. I mean,
think of all the points you could make, the dramatic,
I mean, I'm such a smarter looking person with glasses. I mean,
we all are.
Yeah.
By the way, these are just glass. I don't even need corrective vision. I wear these to look smart. I am 28 minutes away from trying to buy Grateful Dead tickets, Larry. Can you find me a more San Francisco thing to do on a San Francisco Friday than that?
Since Jerry's been gone for 15 years, I don't know if that's
longer than that. Longer than that.
Is it longer than that? 20 years?
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, what Jerry passed away in
90s,
96. I want to say 96. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
but they're coming to Golden Gate Park, Dead and Company. So I'm trying to get into that Sunday show because they got Trey Anastasio.
When is it?
Band.
When is it? Because Kev might be going to that. I think Kev's trying to get tickets to that.
Sunday, August 3rd is the show I'm trying to get to. Sunday, August 3rd. So at 10 a.m.
I would never have pegged you as a Deadhead.
Really? Haven't we smoked enough weed together?
I mean, as far as you're not. I've never seen you wear a tie-dye shirt.
No, yeah.
I've never seen you walking around going doses, 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 doses. I've never seen you pushing beaded necklaces around the station.
No,
dude, check out my beads. Oh, dude. I have to tell you, my roommate in college was such a deadhead, and this is when the dead were alive. I mean, Jerry was going, and he would go to a show, and then he would come back to Sac State in our dorm, and he would sit there at his desk, and it would be like Sunday night, and I'd be like, "Hey, what's up, Adam? How's it going, man? How's the concert, dude? It was righteous. It was righteous." And then I'd be like, "Great." So then crash, wake up next morning, he's still sitting there at his desk with the light on, making beaded necklaces. Monday, I go to class. I come home. He's still sitting there at his desk making beaded necklaces. Tuesday, I go to class. I come back. He's still sitting there making beaded necklaces. Thursday, I come back from class. He's still sitting there making beaded necklaces. I go, bro.
This is a hell of a trip he's on.
I go, bro, we got to talk, man. We got to talk. You literally have not moved from this spot. You've been making beaded necklaces for 4 days. He's like, yeah, dude, I got some killer shit this weekend. I just been absolutely just torched, man. I'm just doing what I can do. I'm like, you might want to go to class, bro. And he was like, let's just say, I don't think he made it to the second year at Sac State.
Hey,
it's hard to flunk out of Sac State, but this guy did.
Sometimes sometimes the chicken comes back extra crispy. What can I tell you? It's
bro.
Yeah, trying to make it. Trying to make it. What's really incredible is how much I pulled Jillian into this whole thing, reluctantly at times, but she's along for the ride now. She's along for the ride.
She seems too clean for the whole thing. I mean, she doesn't seem like she could be a patchouli. I'm not going to shower for 3 weeks kind of a girl.
I've always said bathing is a strong suit with her, so it's really
yeah.
It's good to have everybody here.
The audience, Damon. Wait a second. Emergency chat from SRSOS.
He's looking to get the Indica Kush fatty. There you go. I mean, this is a big day for that. It's a gorgeous weekend here in the Bay Area. We got sundress conditions. Larry, you're going to be burning in Walnut Creek today.
Oh my God. Oh, I mean, seriously. When it gets higher than 95, I head to Sam's Chowder House and I just lay on the patio. I bring a sleeping bag and I just go out to lay on the patio. Yeah, I mean, Walnut Creek. I love 90s. I love 80s. 80s and 90s. I'm all about it. When it gets to 97, it's time to get out.
That's a tap out. That's a tap out temperature. Absolutely. Let's go inside. Let's turn on a little AC. Look, like I said, I know that you have a eye appointment. Again, how much waxing poetic about running around in shorts can you get about OTAs? I'm really happy that, my prediction of the vibes were right seems to be coming true. That this was going to be a better feeling, just a bouncier, happier Shanahan, maybe even actually smiling over 3 days of OTAs would be possible this offseason. And it just was impossible to find last offseason. It was the weird vibe summer. It doesn't seem like the vibes are weird. And again, there's no Brandon Ayuk, there's no Trent Williams, but it's a much different vibe, and that is good. Again, John Lynch on KNBR this morning saying really positive things about Jacob Cowing. And if you ask me, who are the handful of guys you want early return good reports on? He's one of them. It's a shame that Ricky Pearsall isn't in that conversation right now, too, because of the hamstring pull. But look, Cowing
is for that this summer. I mean,
what's that?
Watch for that this summer. I mean, Purdy to Pearsall, I think, is almost guaranteed to be prolific. Why? Because Brock is so accurate, and Pearsall, these guys are going to get on the same page. I mean, there's just no question. And they're going to need him to be good because they're not going to have Ayuk early, and they're not going to have Debo at all. There were a couple other notes that we probably should share with people. It looks like Ben Barch is the leader at left guard. I mean, there's other guys. Spencer Burford, they put at tackle.
At left tackle yesterday.
I mean, I don't know if Burford's going to play tackle or if he's going to play guard. I thought Mason Pline looked particularly good. Tight end. I thought Austin Pleasance is the leader for that swing tackle job. That swing tackle job has really evaporated. I mean, obviously there's Trent and McKivitz, right? Then they tried to get DJ Humphries. They failed. They signed Andre Dillard. He wasn't there yesterday. They also signed Nicholas Petit Frere. I don't think I've ever seen anybody look worse at a practice than Nicholas Petit Frere looked yesterday. I mean, he got his you-know-what handed to him all day. He doesn't look healthy. He doesn't look right. He's like limping around. He just looks bad. I mean, he looked underpowered. He looked kind of lethargic in his movements. So he looked bad. But Austin Pleasance, who was signed in December last year, looked amazing.
How do you? Well, I'm not picking a fight here. How do you look bad against air? He's basically defending air at this point. What made him look so bad? Just out of shape?
I can almost. What? Well, first of all, he didn't look healthy. Like when the reps were done, and he's running back to the huddle, he's kind of limping back to the huddle and kind of dragging a leg. That's number one. Number two, when he's firing his hands in practice, he just didn't look strong at all. He had no ability no sink in his hips or legs to anchor against any kind of power. And that's been his problem in the past, and it really showed. But that he just didn't look right. I mean, he didn't look like fully 100%. I don't know what to. He wasn't moving well. And then you look at Pleasance, and Pleasance was moving incredible. And Pleasance has put on some really good weight. Pleasance is in great shape and looks explosive and powerful. So I know nobody knows that name, Austin Pleasance, and I don't know much about him either. I talked to him. I did an interview with him last December. He's a nice guy. He's really excited about this opportunity, and it looks like he has worked his butt off, Damon, to get into shape. Austin Pleasance is definitely the leader of that swing tackle, job competition. The other guy that I thought looked amazing, and we have to talk about, is Tatum Bethune. And I asked Fred Warner, yes, Tatum Bethune is an incredibly productive player at Florida State, but he just was a little slow for the NFL. And he still got in there at times in the preseason. And when he did get in there, he made lots and lots of tackles, but he still looked a little slow.
He might be slow on the clock, but he didn't look slow on the field.
No, he didn't. But he didn't play enough for teams to really get him isolated in the pass game. And I think if you did isolate him in the pass game, you'd burn him. But he looks like a different guy. He looks like a guy who got with the Niners nutritionist, figured out a better diet. He redid his body. He looks amazing. He's picked up a step and a half, and he was flying around. And I asked Fred Warner about him after practice yesterday. I said, Fred, what do you think of this guy? And Fred, without me prompting him, said, I really am impressed by Tatum Bethune, but I'm really impressed not only by his play, but how he remade his body. So even Fred, without me even prompting him, kind of said that what I saw, which was that looks like Tatum Bethune is a step and a half faster. And Tatum Bethune with an extra step and a half is a really good linebacker. And I watch for him this summer, because last year his instincts were always good. He made lots of tackles at Florida State, but his speed was just a little below what you need to have in the NFL before they start picking on you. Well, he got an extra step and a half this year. He looks leaner, faster, lighter, and watch out for him.
Did you glean anything off your first look at Connor Colby? Are he and George Kittle already executing, secret Iowa Hawkeye handshakes?
Well, I'll say this. There's a good indication when you go to camp. If you ever see a player just getting absolutely roasted by the coach, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Right.
In the NFL, there's a lot of players, and there's lots of guys who the coach will not yell at, but he'll also won't stand up on the table for them when everybody's like, all right, it's time to cut that guy. When you're getting yelled at, it's the shit story. I told you the shit story, right? Mm-hmm. The urbanic shit story. Those who shit on you aren't necessarily your enemies, and people that take shit off your back aren't necessarily your friends. So if you're buried in shit, sit there and shut the fuck up.
It's a very good lesson in life.
It's a very good lesson in life.
It applies to much more than sports.
Right. And Connor Colby was being shat upon, if we go past tense, by Chris Forster. yesterday at practice. I mean, he was all over Connor Colby. Every single rep, it was like he was telling guys, do this, do that. And it was Colby. He's like, come on, do it. He's like really, and Chris likes to coach guys that he likes, guys that he thinks have potential hard. And he was coaching Connor Colby hard. So, yeah, I like what I saw from Connor Colby. I think he's going to be at some point, he's going to be in the mix for a starting job, I think, this year.
Very interesting. Again, OTAs, what do they got? One more session. They're not putting on any pads this week or next week. That doesn't happen until training camp, right?
Yeah, no pads till camp. There'll be actually, I don't know about that. Actually, I don't know if they wear them in the mandatory mini camp or not.
No, put some shells on. I don't think they're popping though. They're not.
They didn't even have helmets on yesterday. Damon, they had helmets on for part of it, but then some of the drills they actually took the helmets off. So, disappointing. There was no Robert Beal. He was hurt. Disappointing. No Alfred Collins.
Working on a side field though, where it's not like he wasn't
no
there.
Curtis, no Trent, no Curtis Robinson, no Trent Taylor, no Curtis Rourke yesterday, no Yatir Gross-Matos, no Andre Dillard. But yeah, I would say the big winners. Braden. Oh, by the way, they're using Braden Willis at fullback now. So watch for Braden Willis to be in the competition at fullback.
Luke
they like
Farrell
Braden Willis.
Show up at all?
Yeah, Luke Farrell made a nice catch. He's a tall guy. I can't really say much more about him than that.
There's very few.
It was a long practice.
Career.
It was a 90-minute practice. Brandon Ayuk was not there. Not that he would have practiced, but he wasn't even on the sideline. Malik Mustafa, who's hurt, was there. No Jair Brown. D. Winters looked really good. That was another guy that we didn't throw in there. D. Winters, absolutely. D. Winters and Nick Martin are going to have a really good battle this summer to see who starts opposite Fred.
Little other NFL news just from sort of around the league, and good teams stay good when they keep the right people together, and it looks like the Minnesota Vikings are doing that. They've signed GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah to a multi-year contract extension. He and Kevin O'Connell have a pretty good thing going, and if they really think that they've got their quarterback of the future, that is the formula that every single team's seeking. Get the right front office guy, the right coach, the right quarterback. So we'll see what the Vikings look like with that news. Bigger, broader
Ex-Niner, by the way. Ex-Niner.
Absolutely. It's kind of why I brought it up. Not an ex-Niner, but not an ex-commissioner yet. Roger Goodell, a succession plan is actually being talked about, apparently. Pro Football Talk did a conversation with John Orand and Seth Wickersham, said that owners, might give Goodell one more contract here, but he's 16 years away from being an 80-year-old man, and looking for his replacement is something that the NFL will start doing. And I'm really wondering where they will even look for his replacement. Would they look inside internally, or at this point, does the next commissioner of the NFL need to be more of a television guy, a network guy, a streaming guy than a football guy? I really wonder what they're going to look for in the next commissioner, because the operation as it currently exists almost seems like too big to fail.
It doesn't matter. I could be the commissioner. You could be the commissioner. Your son Jack could be the commissioner. Anybody could be the commissioner at this point. If anybody does anything to change the modus operandi of the NFL, they're morons.
Right.
A good commissioner will come in and do nothing. Right?
Yeah, don't do anything. Just make sure the car doesn't go crashing into some sort of gambling situation. That's the only thing that could ever hurt football.
You're right. Yeah. You have to have the games have to be on the level, and you have to strike down any and all efforts of any of your players, coaches, or staff to get rich betting on the league. But outside of that, you can't have a Ray Rice situation anymore. You can't have some guy punch his girlfriend in the face on camera. It will absolutely turn off lots and lots and lots of people, men and women alike. So you've got to show that you're serious against serious crimes that your players commit, and that the games are on the level. And other than that, I would say this. If I were the commissioner of the NFL, the only thing I would do is I would establish my own minor league system that I own, that is owned by the leagues, and I'm using the branding of the teams. That's it. That's not. I'm starting a minor league system. I'm not worried about what it looks like or the ratings that it draws or any of that. I just want to get a minor league system with the proper branding out into secondary markets around the country, and let's bring NFL football in the springtime to places that don't have NFL football. And and you know what? If I was the commissioner of the NFL, I would just say, "Hey, Adam Silver, bring it on, baby. Hey, Rob Manfred, bring it on, baby. We're going to go spring football right in your back freaking yard and put you guys out of business." Because we're not, yes, we're all nice, but we're not partners. And I'm making my thing the biggest thing ever. And if your thing dies in the process, so be it.
What would grab the higher audience, the bigger audience? The debut of a NFL affiliated spring league or game one of the NBA finals featuring the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers?
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it would.
Or
be
how about this?
Awful lot of
what would get better? What would get better ratings locally? The 49ers, whatever you want to call it, G League team, minor league team, or the Giants with their ace on the mound playing the Dodgers at Oracle Park. Well, right now it's probably Giants Dodgers, but 5 years from now it will be that minor league football game will outrate Giants Dodgers on a Friday night at Oracle Park.
By the way,
watch it happen.
I just got transferred into a join waiting room for Dead and Company tickets here.
Look at
Sunday,
you.
August 3rd. I'm good luck, everybody. Wish me luck, everybody. This is a big moment for Damon Bruce.
Do they give you anything to snack on in the waiting room? If I know you guys are.
No, there's no tray of fruit, no cantaloupe, no nothing.
There's no billowing smoke or anything.
No. How about this though? Would you like you want to feel old moment of the day?
Sure.
It didn't happen with the San Francisco Giants, obviously, but 35 years ago today, Barry Bonds made his major league debut. He went 0 for 5. It was not a harbinger of the player to come, but Barry Bonds debuted 35 years ago today. Oh my God, we're old men.
What a great player. One of the greatest players I've ever seen. And I was lucky enough to see him play high school ball, and he was awesome. And the Giants almost, it's amazing when you think about what Barry Bonds has contributed to Giants history. The Giants almost, the Giants ownership in 1992 righted a wrong.
Yeah.
The Giants drafted Barry Bonds and almost did lose him to ASU because they weren't willing to pay $5,000.
Isn't that unbelievable?
$5,000. They're gonna make more profit from one stand of lobster sandwiches. There'll be one kiosk of lobster sandwiches that will produce more than $5,000 of revenue.
The lobster is going to go for much more. Your stand that sells Dippin' Dots will make $5,000 by the third inning.
Seriously, ushers are making $5,000. And $5,000. He wanted 35. They offered 30. The Giants said no. He went to ASU. Morons, absolute morons. I don't know if it was Spec Richardson or which GM along the way, Rosen, Quinn. I don't know who it was, but whoever it was a freaking idiot. And only the Barry's desire to play in San Francisco after the 92 season led him home. And look what he did. Barry Bonds, we don't talk about it enough. They call Yankee Stadium for years and years and years the house that Ruth built, because it was. That stadium was built on the revenue of Babe Ruth. Well, Oracle Park was built on the revenue of Barry freaking Bonds. It is the park that Bonds built.
I'll tell you what, it's the only park that Bonds, like, everyone took a look at that 24-foot high wall in left field, and then it was only 315 down the line or whatever it is.
Right field,
right field, excuse me. And everyone's like, oh, man, you just built the cheapest home run in baseball. Bullshit. That's the hardest home run maybe in baseball. And Barry is the only dude who used to flip balls over that wall on the regular. I mean, he was amazing. I don't care what he was on, what he was doing. That guy did it better than everybody. He really did.
Have you ever seen the video, Damon, of Barry and Maddox talking about going against each other?
Well, they were watching the same thing in different rooms and observing the exact same thing. He's like, when the count went 2-1, I thought this. Greg Maddox at 2-1, I'm thinking this. And they're in each other's heads on an iPad. Yeah. It's amazing. It really is.
It's amazing. And the first line from Barry, he's like, "What year is this?" And then they're like, "Oh, it's like 1997." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's when he was really good." It's like Maddox was great, Hall of Famer, but he's right. Maddox continued on and pitched with the Dodgers and the Padres, way later. Yeah. But Maddox in the late 90s was still 93, 94 miles an hour but with unbelievable array of pitches and command.
I don't know if Maddox ever touched 94 a day in his major league career, but he could put 89.
No, he was with the Cubs. Dude, Damon in '89 in the LCS against the Giants, he was 95. He was 95 miles an hour.
Didn't last long.
Greg Maddox used to throw smoke, and then
he was a doctor, man. He was an absolute doctor. You want to get into some supers? Let's do it, Larry.
Yeah, let's do it. The other great Greg Maddox, if you ever want to see it, is when Greg Maddox put on an old man costume to pitch to Chris Bryant.
Yes.
Because they're both from Vegas.
Yes.
And there was part of a commercial, and the guy's like, "Yeah, let him pitch to you." And the guy's like, No, Chris Bryant, no, I don't want him to pitch to me. And then he's like, all right. And he's like, "Whoa, man, this guy's got good stuff."
Yeah.
Wow, this guy's got good stuff.
It's Maddox in a mustache.
Maddox, yeah. Ricky Williams, love the way Kyle's speaking to the way the players are carrying themselves in a season where people are sleeping on us. Kyle has a real chance to up his stock and get this team to hit the ground running. That was the other takeaway. I thought Kyle Shanahan last year at this point, Damon, seemed really tired, really gassed, really, I don't know, the shortened offseason, the Super Bowl loss. I don't know what it was, but there was a lot of deep sighs. I don't know if it was the pending holdout, the holdouts that were coming with Ayuk and Trent, but last year he was worn out. He was much more juicy and rejuvenated yesterday.
Good.
Fuji in the house. Will there be a bottom of the pint today, Larry? We'll have to see. We'll have to check with John. I always give John the option. Fuji Simeon, 49ers will tighten the media food budget. Hot dogs. Yeah, seriously, I can see that coming. They didn't spend in the undrafted free agent market, so they better not spend too big on the media food. That definitely should not be taking priority. Jim Molay in the house. Shout out Lisa Lopes.
Who's Lisa Lopes?
I
don't know who Lisa Lopes is.
I should know it, but I don't.
She's an American singer. She's not Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Is that what she's talking about?
Yeah.
Is that what he's talking about?
Because my left eye.
Because your left eye.
There
your left eye is watery. Okay, this isn't about you burnt down Andre Rison's house by throwing the burning shoes in the bathtub.
Yeah, no.
Okay, thank you.
I knew there was a reference there. Thank you, Jimmy.
Jim Molay later on says, John Mayer can really rip with a Grateful Dead. He's right about that. Your boy Jim knows what's up.
John Mayer's, to me, one of my favorite songs on my Apple playlist is John Mayer's rendition of Tom Petty's Free Fallin'.
Okay, nice.
And Jimmy's a big Tom Petty guy, if I remember correct as well. Thomas Selman, Jimmy used to have, when you'd call Jim Molay's cell phone back in the day in college, you'd have to listen to half of You Don't Know How It Feels from
Not a bad half song to sit through.
Yeah. You don't know how it feels to be me. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy would come on. Yes, hello, it's me. Thomas Selman, happy Friday from Georgia. I love the vibe right now. Bring on the doubters. I hope you all have a great weekend. Always love the Friday show.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, Thomas. My daughter's going to school out in Georgia right now. Ricky Williams, Damon, I love what you do. Man, you were wrong on BA, brother. We need to get him out of here. From a fan's perspective, it feels like he doesn't want to be here. We have to get rid of those players. Trent? No, do not get rid of Trent.
What are you talking about? Dude, you don't need Brandon Ayuk out of here. You need Brandon Ayuk back on the field, hopefully as soon as possible. This guy's got a big contract. I think he's a good player, but I'll tell you what, he was just left off the top 30 wide receiver list in the league, which, when you're paying a dude $20 million, you want to see his name on there, even if he's hurt. But okay. Thank you, Ricky.
Probably due to the injury, right? Probably due to the injury.
1 minute away, 1 minute away from maybe being in queue here. It's probably going to be like, congratulations, you're 647,000th in line. Let's see what happens.
And you didn't get tickets, but you won an extra jar of patchouli. Joseph Ernberg, worried for Collins and Ricky. BA needs to go. I'm worried about Collins. I mean, you got to have Collins in there. I mean, my biggest concern was durability, and here he is. He hasn't been able to get on the field. As far as Ricky's got a hamstring. I would not be too worried about Ricky.
And look, 100 days until kickoff in Seattle. A lot can happen.
David E. in the house. How do you evaluate the Niners DBs as a unit? It's a
work in progress. It's a work in progress.
Well, the safeties are a concern. Jair had an injury. He's shutting it down till camp. Pinnock and Richie Grant were the starters yesterday.
Right?
I will say this, though. Richie Grant looks like something, man. He really does. He looks like a player. And Pinnock, is a converted corner. To me, this is why I'm a big advocate for the Niners, who have $52 million in available cap room, the second most of any team in pro football. In my opinion, they should, scared money doesn't make money. You've heard that phrase, scared money doesn't make money. I get the feeling that the Niners are scared money right now because of the Hargrave situation, because of the money that Jed's paid out. I think Jed's afraid to spend. I mean, he's spending on his own guys. But they badly could use Trey Hendrickson. And if I'm the Niners, I'm trading for Trey Hendrickson. Why? Because why go 25 steps down this road if you're not going to take the 26th step?
Only 2,600 people ahead of me, Larry.
Wow. Look at
Only 2,600. This could happen. Oh!
What does the venue hold?
It's Golden Gate Fields.
Yeah, what is it? What do they hold? I mean, what is it?
It's Golden Gate Park, so it's like they're 80,000.
Yeah. So you'll probably get your tickets.
We'll see. Well, look at it this way: I'm getting in there whether I get tickets today or not, the proper way.
It's Golden Gate Park, right? You could hang out on Lincoln, or hang out on Fulton and just listen. Right?
I'm a 50-year-old man. I'm getting into the fucking show. Come on.
I'm just saying. There's all kinds of bushes.
There are bushes. Well, especially at a dead show, lots of bush. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Not the band Bush. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
Look at you, Gavin Rosdale. Look at you.
Look at you. I'm there. Fuji Simeon 13. Watch Trent Baalke become the NFL commissioner.
I'm not.
Get up here and give me a hug. You hug Trent Baalke. Knowing Baalke, he'd probably outlaw the hug. He'd be like, I only do handshakes.
What this league needs, fewer ACLs. Fewer ACLs.
These guys think they're coming up here hugging Trent Baalke. I said, hey, man, I ain't Raj. I'll take a handshake. All right. Tommy Huxley, Slick Rick injured again. Why am I not surprised? It's a hamstring.
Disappointing, but it's not season altering.
Fun fact.
What's
Jim Olay. Fun fact, Damon actually hates the dead. He's just a closet John Mayer fan.
Whenever I hear your body is a wonderland, I get a little teary-eyed, just like Larry does. And yeah, no. Look, I say that I had John Mayer jokes until I saw him play with Dead and Co. That dude shreds on the guitar. He rips. He's really good.
Isn't he kind of a virtuoso? Isn't he kind of like a Harry Connick Jr. type guy that can play like a bunch of different instruments and sing and everything? Isn't he?
I don't know if he can
multi-skilled.
I don't know if he can do anything other than play guitar, but he can play that guitar like he's. I mean, he's.
I ever tell you about when I met Harry Connick Jr. at a party in New Orleans? I was at the radio NAB convention, and we go to a party, a small party, and Harry Connick Jr. is the entertainment at this small party.
Every instrument you can think of, he played it.
Dude, yeah. He played the piano. He played the bass. He played the harmonica. He sang. Trombone. I mean, the guy is a freak. He's an amazing talent.
True musical genius. He really is.
Amazing talent. Local treasure, city of New Orleans. Fuji Simeon, speaking of baseball, SI baseball is ranked. Really? Go Cats. Nationally? Get them, Cats. Go
By
get
the way,
them, Cats.
Bob Sargent's fingerprints are all over that, Larry.
No, he's a Reardon guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're right. Oh, sorry.
He's a Reardon guy. Let's
love
Bob, but come on.
I got excited. I know you got rivalry there. I just thought Reardon.
Bob's son is coaching at Reardon.
Yes.
So good for Craig. Fuji Simeon 13. Thanks for avoiding 49er content creator fights. Oh yeah, come on, man. I mean, first of all, just because one person says somebody looks slow, there's video. I mean, it's not go watch it yourself. Make your own determination. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Grant says. It doesn't matter what David says, what Damon says, what anybody says, what Jesse's. None of it matters. There's video footage. Go watch it yourself and make your own determination. I thought he looked pretty bouncy. It's May. And also, I'm not going to get up and down. I mean, threaten people over opinions on football. I mean, come on.
We got threats.
We're better than that. We're better than that.
Something happened that I have known nothing about. What happened?
Oh, I mean, we won't get into it, but I think, basically Grant said that he felt like McCaffrey looked slow and didn't have his extra gear. And that's not what I saw. I mean, I didn't put that out there. I thought he looked bouncy. I thought he looked explosive. If anything, I thought he looked faster yesterday than at any point in all of last season. So I liked what I saw, and I was pleasantly surprised and almost kind of shocked a little bit, Damon, that he looked as good as he did and looked as fast as he did. And then, other people started going, hey, if McCaffrey looks slow, and then I think maybe Lombardi kind of pushed back on maybe Jesse, and maybe there was a back and forth between those two guys, and I don't know. Maybe there were some threats launched. I don't know. I don't care.
Either way, how about this? Everyone should get along with each other. There's an exciting, fun football season coming. Calm down. There's 100 days until pads start popping. Relax, everybody.
It's like Will Ferrell from Semi Pro. Everybody love everybody.
Totally.
One rule.
I had a great conversation this week with John Chapman, who I think does a really nice job. And you know who I've booked next week coming on the show? Because I just think she does a really good job. And she's been one of those people that I've discovered since coming over here to YouTube. Steph Sanchez, I believe, is going to be joining me on Tuesday. And we're going to be talking a little Niners with Steph Sanchez the next week.
She's solid. She does a solid job. And you'll enjoy it.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be looking for. Are we done with supers? I think we're done.
That's it. That was it. Today there were 13 total supers today.
There we go, everybody. Nice job. Thank you very, very much. And we'll be back at it on Monday. Hopefully nothing happens. Nothing gets tweaked over the weekend. We'll start setting up what next week looks like for the Niners. Their march towards officially opening of training camp, and football season is going to be on top of us before we know it here, Larry. It's going to happen. So,
it may, and you know what? I don't know if the Niners, I'll say this. I told you a month ago, hey, guys like Kawakami are saying the Niners are not competing for a championship this year. And I said, I'm not willing to say that until after the draft. I go, wait until the draft comes and goes. then we get a chance to see, what they get done after the draft, and let's get through the mini camp. And then I'll have a much better idea. And I would say this. I don't think the 49ers are the best team in football, but I would say they are among the best teams in football, even with all the young players they have. And if they get the right kind of breaks, I think they're a 10, 12-win football team that's going to win multiple playoff rounds. And
how about this?
I think people are going to be very happy this year with what they see on the field.
You win 10, 12 games, and you're winning multiple playoff games. What can't happen at that point, right? I mean, you're in it. That's all you can hope for. Are you in it at the end of the year? Because trying to predict based on what happened last week, what's going to happen next week in a football game is something only stupid people do right now. Shit doesn't carry over from one half of a football game to the next half of a football game these days, much less week to week.
No,
so
good point.
I'm bullish on the 49ers this year, even with a clearly not perfectly built team. I think it's a perfectly built schedule. It's a much better coaching staff. There is calm where there needs to be calm in the position of quarterback. And I just think that the right guys are in the room to figure it out. It will be a bumpy ride, but I think the ride gets to a very good place this year. I hope so.
They were horrible on special teams, pretty bad on defense, and they regressed on offense. They need to bounce back on offense. Christian McCaffrey's the key. If he's back and he's Christian McCaffrey, they're on a different level.
Game on. Game on.
Brock Purdy's going to play well. I think the young weapons are going to surprise. I don't think you're going to miss Debo nearly as much as you think. There could be some bumps in the road on the defensive side.
But they'll be learning. I mean, that's the thing. There's going to be some on the clock. I still think it's a
10-win type team. It's a 10-win type team.
I do too. Oh, I'm 500 people away here, Larry. We got to go.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Have a great Friday, everybody. Peace.